January 19th, 2025. I wake up in the morning and look outside. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, everything is normal. I grab my phone and check my text messages. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then, I open up TikTok and am greeted by this horrifying message. Ah! TikTok is banned. I couldn't believe it. My whole world was shaken. I was devastated. 2 hours later, I'm in the car on the way to my little sister's championship basketball game, mind completely off of the tragedy that took place 2 hours before. After she wins the game, I get back in the car, and I open up TikTok to show my dad the ban when I see this. TikTok is back, a godsend. The alleged ban lasted 12 hours, for which only 5 of those I was awake. Just 5. But to me, those 5 hours felt like 5 years. I was not okay. You might be wondering, what is TikTok? If you live under a rock, TikTok is a social media app where you can create or watch videos other people have created. It decides what videos to show you based on how long you watch similar videos or if you leave likes or comments on those videos. But what is TikTok to me? TikTok is a way that I can connect with my friends. If there's a funny video or trend on TikTok, you better believe me and my friends will be laughing about it in school the next day. Let's just say Spanish class would be a lot more boring if I couldn't laugh with my friends about what I see. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and some lawmakers believe that this makes it a national security risk. Because of this, the government wants to ban TikTok, but many people don't think that this makes sense. The first reason for the ban is the fear that the Chinese government could be using TikTok to steal the data of American users. Officials believe that ByteDance could be forced to share data with the Chinese government. The second reason why the government wants TikTok banned is the fear that TikTok could be promoting certain Chinese propaganda, which could sway elections and American viewpoints. But both of these don't really make sense. I mean, if the Chinese government really wanted the data of Americans, they wouldn't rely on a social media app. Instead, why not just install something in the phones that they manufacture? Also, American social media websites like Facebook have actually had scandals in the past. In 2016, Facebook was caught selling data of millions of Americans to the Russian government. And in 2021, another major security breach happened involving Russia within Facebook. And just because they're America-owned, it's okay? Now, about the propaganda issue. When I conducted my research on this, I decided that websites had too many varying viewpoints based off of political opinions and whatnot. So I decided to do the last thing a 9th grader wants to do. I scrolled on TikTok for an hour. I know, hold the applause, not all heroes wear capes. But after about an hour, I found nothing. But this is probably because my For You page is mostly joke videos and stupid stuff. So I did some searching. First I searched up China, and the only popular user with that name was an actor. Then I searched up Chinese government, and I only found American news coverage on wars with Taiwan. I kept searching, but I found nothing. I didn't even find any Chinese citizens in China making TikToks. This is because in China, TikTok is banned, and they use an app called Red Note, which is basically Chinese TikTok. So if the Chinese government nor any Chinese citizens are on the app spreading propaganda, there is no risk of TikTok spreading communist viewpoints. The worst part about the TikTok ban is that the people who use and rely on TikTok every day don't get a say in what happens to it. Instead, the old senators make the laws, which is not good for TikTok. A study showed that less than 1 out of 10 US senators had TikTok installed on their phone. That's outrageous. This means that they're making decisions based off of only rumors that they've heard. A court hearing between the CEO of TikTok and one of the senators
Does TikTok
played out, and
access
this is
the
how it
home
went.
Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the
So if I have
question.
TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, that we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
As you can see from that video, the senators don't know much about technology, let alone TikTok. You might be asking, Knox, why should I care about TikTok when there are so many other apps just like it? Because TikTok is different. For one, TikTok is really good at creating communities. Let's say I'm really into the Los Angeles Lakers. Within a day or two of me watching Lakers highlights, that'll be the majority of my feed. And then let's say a friend is also into the Lakers highlights. We can talk about that in school the next day after watching a video. But TikTok doesn't just stop there. If enough people show engagement into these Lakers videos, they become a part of mainstream media, thus allowing me to connect with others who have seen the video. Another way that people rely on TikTok is through money. Content creators, for one. If you make a video and it's longer than a minute, if you make a video and it does relatively well and it's longer than a minute, TikTok pays you. This is a really good job. This is a really good second job for people, and sometimes even a main one, and it helps people stay afloat in today's economy. Another group of people who rely on TikTok are small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's say you just opened a small baking business, for example. You might not have the funds to advertise your business, thus decreasing sales. But on TikTok, you can advertise for free, and more people would probably end up seeing your business, your commercial. Another way that TikTok helps people make money is through the TikTok shop. The TikTok shop is basically Amazon, but on TikTok, and it's better for the seller. On a TikTok shop, there's less competition between sellers, so there's a higher chance that your product gets bought. Also, people could see your product while engaging in content on TikTok, and then go buy it. And lastly, sellers on the TikTok shop make more in commissions than they do on Amazon. If you came in here today thinking that TikTok should get banned, I hope I've changed your mind. So many people use and rely on TikTok in their day-to-day life. There are so many different perspectives to this argument, and I believe that you don't know everyone's perspective until you hear their story. I'm Knox Bass, and thank you for listening to my TED Talk.